Okay. Good afternoon, everybody across the AnnieMac Nation. Welcome back to one of our National Lunch and Learn League events. We are so proud and so happy that you've joined us for the AnnieMac Home Mortgage's National Lunch and Learn League event. This is just one of many training events and certifications and coaching environments that the AnnieMac Home Mortgage Organization extends to you, our real estate professional network, to help forward income, increase production, and hopefully create a better work-life balance by adding Fortune 500 caliber sales training to your career and to your brokerage at absolutely no cost to you or your broker. I want to take a moment and thank the AnnieMac Home Mortgage professionals and branch managers from across the AnnieMac Nation for putting together these rooms. We've had hundreds and hundreds of rooms on the first Wednesday of every month. We replay these National Lunch and Learn League events throughout the year, and these are ideal environments for us to share some of the things that we're passionate about in the forum of sales and the sector of residential real estate, so that you can be better equipped to go out and produce and list and earn more money as a direct result of this partnership or this collaboration with AnnieMac Home Mortgage. So without further ado, I want to tell you about the Brian Tracy organization. As a young professional myself, I was addicted, just absolutely addicted to the psychology of selling. Brian Tracy's iconic Psychology of Selling manuscript taught a whole generation of sales professionals how to understand the psyche of their consumer and how to better communicate with empathy, how to better communicate with a nurturing, humble servant leader's heart, but also how to position conversations where there was some authority and a little bit of gravitas to the conversation. I could tell you that I put those little cassettes in my car for probably a decade, and I absorbed the psychology of selling from Brian Tracy International and the Brian Tracy organization. So after 3 decades in the real estate and mortgage industry, it is absolutely an honor and a privilege to introduce Dr. Andreas Bouchard, the certified Psychology of Selling coach from the Brian Tracy organization, that he can extend Psychology of Selling just for real estate professionals. So I hope you enjoy it. We're certainly very proud of it. Have a great day. And if you do appreciate it, if you pull a little morsel out that helps you in your sales career, make sure and thank that AnnieMac Home Mortgage professional in the room with you and extend that give before getting philosophy. Pay it forward. Let's all work together and try to do more mortgage business, more real estate transactions, and have a great month. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Going off to see Dr. Andreas Bouchard from the Brian Tracy organization.
Thank you, Russ, for that very kind introduction. And I want to reciprocate by saying thank you to you and Carrie here at AnnieMac Works for helping to put this program together. You know, AnnieMac Home Mortgage has put together a tremendous platform for its real estate referral partners. As Russ mentioned, we've had the tremendous honor to be able to train tens of thousands of sales professionals worldwide. However, this is a unique platform for us to be able to speak directly to 200 to 300 brokerage offices around the country, and represents a tremendous opportunity. I also want to let you know how impressed I am with the National Lunch and Learn League. And so on behalf of myself and Brian Tracy, I want to say thank you for allowing us this opportunity to step into your office and helping you and your team to bridge the gap with the powerful products and services that you offer with the goals, needs, and wants of your ideal customers at fair market value. You know, real estate today represents a tremendous opportunity. After all, you get to be your own boss. You have all of the upside with little to no downside. After all, there are no huge capital or startup costs. Once you are licensed, as you know, and you are now hanging your license with a broker, you now have the ability to determine your future. Sky is the limit. You have unlimited earning potential. You have unlimited income abilities. You have the ability to set your own hours and create your own time freedom around a schedule that you love, serving the clients that you ultimately want to serve. Now, with great opportunity also comes great responsibility. And the key to unlocking your sales success, regardless of what's happening in the market or in the economy or with other cut rate brokers, your future rests in your hands and begins by developing yourself. So I want to commend you for taking time out of your day to be with us here today, because it shows me how committed you are to your sales success. So welcome to Psychology of Selling Just for Realtors. You know, sales success today comes down to more of your mental ability than it does your physical ability. 80% of your sales success comes down to how you think and feel about yourself and what you do. It is your self-concepts and your belief in your services and the value that you bring to the table that often drop straight to the bottom line, meaning more listings, more clients, and yes, ultimately, more sales. When you have a strong, positive self-concepts, it translates into everything you do. How you think, and then in turn your emotions, and then your emotions in turn your actions, and then the actions ultimately lead to the results that you enjoy. So in today's program, here's exactly what you will learn. The critical elements that separate top agents from the field. The importance of a positive self-concept and your personal brand. The two fears that ultimately hold you back. The winning edge concept for today's real estate success. How to set yourself apart from the competition. What consumers are ultimately really looking for, and how to position your competitive advantage. Now, you might be asking yourself who we are. Brian Tracy is a dear personal friend of mine and a mentor who literally transformed the way that I sold early on in business. After all, he's been around for nearly over 40 years now and arguably one of the most successful success and sales training experts in the world today. He's the author of over 70 best-selling books, and he continues to travel the world working with large corporations, both big and small, and helping them to serve more clients. He transformed my career when I was relying far too often and too much on my degrees and titles and certifications that somehow hanging my license on the wall was going to be enough to attract the clients that I wanted to serve. Well, that was a rude awakening, so much so that I almost went bankrupt before I invested in myself and yes, bought some audio tapes, I'm dating myself, of Brian Tracy's work around the psychology of selling to now transform and reinvent my career after selling a multi-million-dollar wellness center that almost went bankrupt to now working with some of the biggest brands in the world today in the NBA, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, Transamerica, credit unions, as well as the Cosmopolitan Hotel and Resort and Casino, and yes, local real estate offices here in Southern California. So what I want to share with you are the lessons that help transform the way that I sold in a way that it helps you so that you can sell your products and services at fair market value with little to no resistance, where they see the value in what you offer and how you care and ultimately can serve them best. Brian Tracy's sales success began by exploring the answer to one very simple question when it comes to understanding and embracing the psychology of selling. And that question is this: why are some agents or some sales professionals more successful than others? Simple question, but pretty profound if you start to think about that every sales professional or every real estate agent working out of the same office has access to virtually the same marketing material, the same business cards, the same market, the same customers under the same conditions, yet some excel while unfortunately others struggle or fail to live up to their true potential. In his quest to understanding and embracing this very simple, profound question, he also found a very simple and profound answer that makes the difference in your sales success. And it all comes down to the law of cause and effect. If you want a new effect, a newer result, what cause is required to make that happen? This law also states that nothing happens by accident. There is no good luck. This is a matter of simply what is the cause and what is the effect. So if you want to double your income, triple your income, the effect, what are the causes that are required to make that happen? And is what you're doing now leading to that new effect? And this is a very simple and profound question that can also be summed up by asking yourself this on a daily basis. Is what I'm doing right now leading to a new listing? Is what I'm doing right now leading to a sale? Is what I'm doing right now leading to acquiring a new referral or a new customer? Simple questions, and one that you should ask yourself on a daily basis, especially when you find yourself mindlessly surfing the internet or social media or gabbing by the water cooler on the latest gossip or the results of the latest reality TV show, and start to wonder why you may not be achieving the results that you ultimately desire. Now, one of the primary qualities of top agents is what we call having and maintaining a positive self-concept. Your self-concept is the master program to your subconscious brain. It begins by how you see yourself and how you see your role. So if you don't see yourself in a positive light, and or you don't see your role as anything different than being an ordinary real estate agent, how on earth is the market to perceive you any different? See, here's the rule. You become what you think about most of the time. And there's a direct correlation to how you feel on the inside to how you perform on the outside. Now, here's the truth about your self-concept. They are 100% and purely subjective. They're not based in fact or merit. They're based on experiences in your upbringing and those that you surround yourself with in your inner circle. So the question becomes, what self-concept do you want to portray? Now, here's a simple exercise that I challenge you to do. Take a piece of paper and list out on one side of the column all of the qualities of your ideal customer. Everything from demographics to psychographics to behaviors to homes to lifestyle to travel to family to kids to music to interests and everything that they have and how they conduct their life. And when you're done compiling this list, in essence, you have also written a list of everything you need to become to attract your ideal clients. And your self-concept is purely defined by you, which means that at any given moment, you can redefine how you think and feel and act on a daily basis about yourself. Choose wisely and pretend that you could wave a magic wand and there were no limitations upon your success. Who would you become? What would you do? And what would you achieve? Now, your self-concept is also based on a variety of mini self-concepts that determine your performance and effectiveness in selling. Now, Brian Tracy talks about this often. There are really 7 key result areas of selling. There's prospecting, and a prospect is someone who can and will buy within a reasonable period of time. I love that definition, by the way. The ability to build trust and rapport with your clients in a way that they see you as the expert and the authority, someone that is on their side. Then the ability to be able to identify their needs accurately, that you truly understand me before you worry about me understanding you. Then, of course, there is presenting. How do you present what you offer and the value of what you do? Persuasive presentations are critical to your success because, after all, no products are sold. Products are sold, they are never bought. Far too many agents are relying on the low-hanging fruit and just going by numbers rather than going after the more difficult or challenging opportunities that are the ones that could really grow and develop their business and, of course, your reputation in the marketplace. Then, of course, there's overcoming objections. No sales conversation comes without them, but yet it never ceases to amaze me that many sit there like deer in headlights going, oh my God, there's an objection. What do I do? Look, you know they're going to try to negotiate your rates. You know that they're going to mention the realtor down the street offers lower rates than you. What is your answer? Stand in the value for what you offer and never, ever allow anyone to commoditize what you do. And I can speak from experience on this. And in fact, I actually leverage this throughout my sales conversations in private practice, because there's a chiropractor virtually on every street corner, no different than you. And we are loaded with stigmas and stereotypes. You're not a real doctor. You're a quack, someone who couldn't go to med school, so you chose to go to chiropractor. This is the last thing you could do, blah, 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 right? People think that. Be prepared for it and know that they are coming. So here's a simple little exercise for you all to think about. All objections are based on a myth or misunderstanding of some kind. What is it based on? What are they basing their information on? Most of the time it's a myth or a complete misunderstanding or just misinformation altogether. And their objections are really come down into three major categories. One, their objection is you. They don't like you personally for one reason or another. There is no connection. Look, I don't connect with everyone, nor do I try to. I try to connect with my ideal clients that want to improve their sales success in an authentic way, from the bedside manner of a physician, but yet with the discipline of an Ironman triathlete to get more done. That's who I'm speaking to, and that's who I want to attract. The other area is that they'll have a myth or misconception about themselves. You know, they may not feel like they qualify, or that they can't get the home, or they might be out of their price range, and they'll hide it in other objections. So your job is to root and ferret out where's the real objection coming from. And then the third category is they have an objection about your industry, right? About real estate professionals in general. You know, it doesn't take long for me to start talking to people about realtors, and many will have an opinion about it. Most of the time, it's not positive. I mean, let's just be honest. Call a spade a spade. Now, here's the thing. Just because there's a lot of realtors out there doesn't mean there isn't opportunity for you. The key is you have to think in abundance. You cannot think in scarcity. And here's what I mean. Going back to my own businesses in the past, I mean, God, there's a ton of sales trainers or a ton of chiropractors. You have lots of choices that are out there in the marketplace, but I really don't care, because they can't compete with the one thing that no one can compete with you on, which is you. Never forget the power that you bring to the table. Own your value. Step into the power of your own self-concept, and know that these are going to be the critical elements that will allow you to be successful regardless of what the economy is doing. Because here's the thing. There are tons of bad realtors out there. We all know this. This just gives you more opportunity. So when you do them right and you serve your clients right, you look like a hero. Stop worrying about what the masses are saying. This is a good thing. It's a good thing for you. And you can control this, and you can control your outcome. And then, of course, after overcoming objections, there's closing the sale, right? How good at you are, hey, let's do this. I'm looking forward to representing you, and we'll make sure we'll take great care of you. Closing the deal. It doesn't happen without it. And then, of course, getting resales and referrals. So those are your 7 critical elements or key result areas or vital functions, right? Just like a patient, if they were to come in to see me, I'm going to be checking their pulse, their blood pressure, their temperature to get a baseline of their vitals. If any of those are off, we've got a problem, and we need to figure out what that is. Your job is to find out what are your key result areas, because here's the point. Your self-concept is limited by your weakest area. And top sales professionals do not accept their weakest area and continue to refine it. Rather than complain about it, they work to improve and eventually master it. So once you get control of your thoughts and your actions, and you start working on these key result areas of your self-concept, this is where your confidence improves and your ability to serve your clients and let them feel your confidence will translate into your financial success. Now, your self-concept is made up of 3 distinct ingredients or parts. Number 1 is your self-ideal. These are your goals, your desires, what you want to achieve, your ambition. Here's the thing, here's the key to making problems smaller than what they really are. What I found in coaching with many professionals and organizations across the country is that their targets are simply too low. You haven't set Ironman goals. You've set 5K goals, but you haven't set Ironman goals. Set bigger goals to make your problems seem smaller. This will allow you to keep your eyes on the prize. So I challenge you to raise your targets, if you even have them, on a daily, quarterly, and annual basis, and work backwards. So set a 3-year target. Then what's your 1-year target? And then what are the quarterly behaviors you need to engage in to make that target a reality? And then it's simply a matter of execution. Self-image, the second part of building a strong self-concept. Now, your self-image is how you see yourself. It's how you think about yourself. And as I mentioned earlier, you become what you think about the most. It's the mental pictures that you carry each and every day. It's that little voice inside your head. I'd be willing to bet that many of you would probably knock my lights out if I talked to your children or a family member of yours in the way that you talk to yourself. We're often our own worst critic, and it's often based in myth and in a lack of true reality. They're what in essence are self-limiting beliefs. They don't exist, but only in your mind. They're not real. This is really important. And then your self-esteem. This is how you feel about yourself on an emotional level, because your emotions determine your thoughts. Your thoughts determine your actions, and your actions ultimately determine your results. Once you master this, this will become the key to unlocking your keys to sales success. Now, the only way to build a strong self-concept is through resistance. You have to persist through the resistance. Do what you fear the most. Take the biggest, ugliest task that you just simply dread and do it first thing every single day. Do you have the right habits in place that support your key vital functions? Or are you engaging in office politics, drama, and complaining and whining and doing nothing about the situation other than contributing to the problem and unfortunately your own lack of success? Only you can answer that question. Now, here's the good news. Much of this might seem daunting and where do I actually begin, but I want you to remind yourself that it's really the keys of those simple self-disciplines practiced every day that allow you to build a strong sense of self-confidence and, of course, a strong self-concept. Now, what I want to introduce you to now is the winning edge concept. Now, this is a powerful concept that truly has revolutionized the sales profession as a whole, and it was created by Brian Tracy, where he talks about the small changes, the small hinges that can ultimately swing big doors. Because I'd be willing to bet that you're only a few adjustments away from unlocking your true success. If you think about competitive sports for a moment, I just recently watched the Masters where Sergio Garcia won his first major tournament, and I was very happy and pleased to see it. And my wife at that moment was curious, what is the prize money of first place? Well, the prize money for first place was $1.98 million or something along those lines, not including the sponsorships and endorsements and everything that he's getting. Which then immediately made me wonder, what was the prize for second place? That was $1.15 million, so nearly an $800,000 swing between first and second place. And the name is escaping me at this moment who was in second place, but here's the question that I have. When you think about Sergio Garcia beating him in a playoff by literally one stroke over the course of a 72-hole tournament, which actually became 73 because it went into extra innings, if you will, in golf terms or baseball terms. And if you think about their level and their stroke average, they're not far apart. It is like a horse winning by a nose in the Preakness. And so it is the same thing in sales today, that it's just the little adjustments that can make a massive difference in your sales success. One change in word, in phrasing, in question, in posture, in positioning, all can make the difference between landing the deal or not. Now, here's the difference though. Unlike professional sports, there is no prize for second place. There is no participation trophy. So you either win or you lose. It's one or the other. You don't get a prize for getting close to getting the listing agreement. You either got it or you didn't, right? This isn't a game of horseshoes. So I want you to remember that. I want you to think about what are those little areas and those key result areas of selling that you can continue to improve upon. So think about that as I share with you the qualities of top real estate agents today. Number one, they are incredibly ambitious. They have an intense desire to succeed. You know, it's the top 20 percenters that earn on average of about 10 times their peers. If you take the top 20% of the top 20%, which is 4%, they earn on average 64 times everyone else. And you can continue to do the math beyond that. And so here's the bottom line. Top agents decide to be in the top 10%. Anything less than that, you are choosing by default to become mediocre, to become average. So make a decision, is my challenge to you today, to become the very best at your craft, because nothing else will do. Unfortunately, there's far too many that just drift into the office 10:30 in the morning, getting their cup of coffee and shuffling some paper, checking their email, going through social media, stopping by the water cooler, hitting everyone else's cubicle, catching up on the latest gossip, and next thing you know, it's, oh, you know what, I'm hungry, it's lunchtime, and you have yet to make a prospecting call, you have yet to make a connect with a client, you have yet to follow up on something that is important that needs to get done. All because we fall into a place of comfort. So top agents have an enormous and intense desire to succeed. Number two, top agents are courageous. They continually confront the fears that hold most agents back. Look, fear of failure and fear of rejection are number one and the number two reasons why agents don't reach their potential. And as we talked about earlier, this fear of failure and fear of rejection are often self-imposed. Yes, there is going to be failure. Yes, there is going to be rejection. After all, this is sales. Your success is in direct proportion to your willingness and ability to fail. So I ask, go fail fast and fail often. And ask yourself, what did I learn and what will I do next time? Look, you can't learn everything about the psychology of selling and watching videos. You learn it by doing it and getting out there and facing what it is that you fear the most. Rejection? Know that it is never personal. It is just part of the territory. You know, sure, many of our clients can become close and we can become friends, but remember, we're not friends. We're there to serve them. We are there to be their expert and authority. They've got plenty of friends. They don't need that. They need someone that's looking out for their best interest. They're looking out for someone like you who truly cares. Number three, top agents are committed to their craft. They accept no weaknesses in their armor. They look at those 7 key result areas and they refine and they tweak and they continue to ask themselves, what can I do to improve? Despite having over thousands of sales conversations, selling everything from now-a-laters when I was a kid in middle school to now multi-six-figure contracts and training and working with companies, there's never a sales conversation that I have where I hang up the phone and I go, man, I nailed it. That was awesome. No. Yeah, I might be excited that I got the deal, but when I go back and listen to a call again, or I reevaluate or reassess my call, I go, why did I say that? You know, next time I'll say it this way. Why did I ask that question? That was really dumb, Andreas. You probably looked like a fool on that one. No wonder they said no. Next time you do this. You continue to reassess. You don't wallow. Barbara Corcoran did an interview once that I listened to that I found quite profound. She goes, you show me an entrepreneur who's willing to fail and fail fast, I'll show you a winner. And that is what it's going to take to succeed. Fail, fail fast, and get up faster. Fail, fail fast, and get up faster. Write that down. Fail, fail fast, and get up faster. That is going to be your key to success because you're only as strong as your weakest link. Top agents are professional. They see themselves as consultants, advisors, and not just another real estate agent. right? They look for someone that can help them to solve their problems, someone that is on their side, someone to help them guide me through the process. And when you follow a proven framework for how you sell, and far too many sales professionals are winging their sales conversations. So as a result, I created this entire 12-step framework that works literally across any single industry that allows you to deliver tremendous value, allows you to weed out the tire kickers so you only spend quality time with quality prospects, and it allows you to deliver massive value, maintain your reputation, whether you work with them or not. And you don't even offer the prescription unless you already have worked through all of the objections. It's really foundational that you establish what I call rules for how you sell. Things that you will not compromise on based on on the value of what you bring and what you're worth. Stand in that and be certain in that. Know that people are going to try to negotiate your fees, but at the same time, here's why they're important and why they matter and how they actually save you money. There's more to this than just the commission. Many people don't know that. Now, so draw your lines in the sand and be clear about them. And don't be afraid to stand true to them when you know they can help them. One of the things that I found is far too many professionals are banging their heads against the wall against the wrong prospect. That's why I have you do that exercise earlier where you want to outline all of the qualities of who's your ideal customer. And if they don't fit that, you might want to just say, you know what, I'm not your agent. And that's totally okay. And here's why. Explain it. Because it doesn't match certain criteria and standard for which you can help them with. And so don't be afraid to stand for that. So what are the things that you stand for? And then also, what do you stand against? Top agents are responsible. They see themselves as presidents of their own personal brand and company. Look, you are your own entrepreneur. Yes, you hang in your license with a broker who's giving you a tremendous opportunity, but what will you do with it? Let me ask you a question. It cost me $1.4 million to build my wellness center. If it cost you that much to be able to practice real estate right now, would that change your urgency to pay off your loan? To make money and turn that into an ROI? You better believe it. And far too often, and why a lot of real estate agents struggle, is that they don't treat their opportunity with a sense of urgency because they don't have that much skin in the game. You want to act as if and develop a strong sense of urgency. Top agents are thoroughly prepared for every single touch point. In every interaction that they have with a customer, they're working on pre-touch point questions and being prepared before they actually meet with a client. They're working on during the sessions on what they're doing and information that they're wanting to gather and the objectives that they're wanting to achieve. And then, like we talked about earlier, they're also doing a post-touch point evaluation follow-up on a consistent and continual basis that your customers can ultimately rely on. Top agents are continuous learners. They're always reading new books. They're reading new material. They're searching for new videos. They're looking for new information and a new edge. They take 3% of what they earn and put it back into seminars and ongoing education so they can continue to evolve their weak areas and allowing them to achieve the growth that they want and desire. Now, the key is to prioritize where you invest that. I challenge you to go back to those 7 key result areas that we talked about earlier and master them first. Yes, there's social media. Yes, there's LinkedIn. And yes, there's blogging. And yes, there's Twitter. But look, none of those are going to matter if you've got a highly qualified list of leads that are on your desk, but you struggle with closing the sale. You struggle with overcoming the objections. Master the vital functions, and then once you've mastered them, then you can fill your funnel with an endless amount of a pool of leads. Top agents often find their riches in the niches. Now, I know there's some debate that's out there with many real estate agents because I kind of understand where you're coming from because I at once felt the same way trying to be all things to all people. When I started out in chiropractic, chiropractic is great for everyone with a spine. No, it's not. Not all patients are created equal, and nor are all homeowners. And so you want to be very clear. And the more that you can niche down and specialize in what you can represent for them, the better your ideal clients will be able to identify with you. And I ran across a story here by this real estate agent by the name of Gary, who many years ago found himself working with more historic homes in his area. And so he decided, and he launched a whole website, and it's called historichometeam.com. It's still live now, and feel free to check it out. And you can see how he has niched himself down, and this is dated now when I found this article, but back in 2009, he had his most banner year when he made this switch, because it allowed him to focus his marketing efforts. Because the problem with trying to be all things to all people is that you end up being nothing to no one and just another realtor. When you can specialize, it's the specialist that makes a lot of money. Think about a medical doctor versus a neurosurgeon, right? A medical doctor versus an orthopedic surgeon, right? You're going to want a specialist if you have a knee injury. If you have a brain injury, you're going to want a neurosurgeon. And so you want to make sure that you can niche down wherever possible and not be afraid of it. And it's not just me saying it. In fact, in 2008, a survey of buyers and sellers by the National Association of Realtors revealed that 80% of home buyers would prefer to work with a real estate practitioner who's focused on a particular type of property. This is incredibly important. And if you think about it, there's over 500 different TV stations on cable today, literally serving every niche market you could possibly imagine. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Just because you define your target audience, I want you to know it doesn't mean it ultimately limits who you work with. And this was something I struggled with early, but when I did this in my marketing and when I do it now, by focusing in and zeroing in, I can speak the language of my ideal clients. And when you can speak their language and articulate their problems better than they can, here's the rule: they will automatically perceive you as having the solution. So the question becomes, how do you find your niche? Well, analyze your local demographics. What is your community made of? You know, I live here in Southern California, and I live in the Carlsbad area, not too far from La Costa, but it's a little different than San Marcos versus Del Mar versus La Jolla versus Oceanside versus downtown. Each area has a unique set of demographics. Find out what they are and see what areas that you might find that you're serving more than others. Number two, pinpoint your passion. What do you love? Is it maybe that you love waterfront homes, or maybe you're a golfer, or you're a triathlete, or you're a cyclist, or you're an avid runner, or you want to focus more on historic homes or million-dollar listings, or a certain area that you want to become the authority as the preferred realtor, that if anyone thinks about that area, they're thinking about you. Challenge yourself to find what your passion is, because the more passion you can tie into what you do, the more your sellers and buyers will feel it, and the more they will identify and connect with you. Number three, zero in on a defined geographic area. Every seller wants to know one thing: what have you sold that looks like my property? Now, I can speak from personal experience, because unfortunately I just lost my father not too long ago and my mother last year, and I'm having to deal with the estate. And we're living in another state, and I'm here in San Diego, and everything changes so quickly in that moment, and you're handling more than I think anyone could ever be prepared for, emotionally, financially, in every single way. Well, I found these realtors that specialized in that retirement community. But not only did they specialize in that retirement community, but they specialized in estate sales and helping you to navigate the entire process, so that all I literally had to do was collect the belongings that I wanted to keep, discard the ones that we didn't, and leave the ones that we wanted to sell. It removed a tremendous burden and a stress from an already stressful time for me. I checked out their recommendations and their references, their track record and their history, and everything checked out. And I was okay. We did negotiate a little on their commission, but they are getting many sides of the deal. And I was okay at the end of the day giving them a little bit more in other areas, because I knew the value of what they could do. And there were lots of other realtors in the area, but they offered everything that I needed in that moment. And I thought to myself, what an amazing niche these two have. And so far, everything is going well. Time will tell. So I will challenge you to think about where you can identify and define geographic area. And then don't be afraid to look right in front of you. I have a story of another real estate agent. Her name is Melanie. And in the 1990s, she realized that many of her first-time clients from the early 70s were now obviously much older. And all of a sudden, she was hit with what her new market was, which was the elderly population, the retirement population. Number 5, tap your existing networks. Look, if you belong to the PTA and are heavily involved in the association, you have access to hundreds of parents and families. That could be potentially your niche. Look, I'm not trying to tell you where or what to do, but I'm trying to challenge you to start stimulate your thinking on where you could hang your hat and what you ultimately want to be known for so that you can put your stake in the ground. So here are 5 keys to real estate niche success. Number 1, you want to make sure that you get the credentials, and then of course explain what those credentials mean. And once you have them, don't be shy about them. I see this far too often because we've been all taught and groomed from an early age to not brag or boast. It's not that. This is business. This is about letting the market know who you are and what you're qualified to help them with. This is not the time to be shy. So if you are a buyer of waterfront property, you might appreciate that your real estate agent was a former sailing instructor. There are so many different ways for you to stretch the gap and be able to connect with your ideal customers. Number 2 is understand the lifestyle. You want to make sure that you can demonstrate that you truly understand the customer's attitudes, their tastes, and their motivations. Right? Buyers in the luxury market want their realtors to know their numbers, and they need to know them cold. You cannot show any doubt or any hesitancy whatsoever because they expect the best, so you must become the best. And you must be able to demonstrate this on demand to be able to continue to earn and maintain that level of trust and authority and ultimately the fees that you deserve for the services that you provide. Share their enthusiasm. So if you specialize in environmental friendly homes as another idea, doesn't it make sense that you also use recycled paper when you're sending out any correspondence? The key is to be congruent with that of what you believe in and specialize in. And number 4, make sure you become an online resource. Become helpful. And one of my favorite tools in growing any business that I think any professional needs to have is to be out there speaking on your expertise, on the ins and outs of owning real estate and the pitfalls you need to avoid in today's economy and how you can leverage today's lower interest rates before the Fed continues to rise them again. Right? Position yourself as an expert and authority and blog about them and think about how you can create a domain that matches your specialization that allows you to stand out from the competition, all are which are critical if you want to make sure that you obtain full fee for full service. And then make sure that you maintain within the laws of fair housing. Now this is really important because it's illegal to advertise or make a statement that indicates a limitation based on race, color, national origin, religion, sex, family status, or handicap. All right, I'm sure you already know that. So instead, I'm not an attorney, so certainly check with your broker, but I just want to make sure that I mention this, is describe your skills and the property, not the people that you want to live there or the people that live there now. So as I wrap this up, I have one final question for you to answer. Why do you do what you do? Because remember, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And there's a powerful video of Simon Sinek's TED Talk that really outlines this incredibly powerful, where he talks about people buying why you do what you do. Now, most people know what they do and they know how they do it and maybe why they do it. Top companies and top performers in real estate today know exactly why they do it, how they do it, and what they do. And let me give you an example of how profound this can be, and this is based on Simon Sinek's work. If Apple communicated, Apple Computers, because everybody pretty much knows who they are, like most people do in their business, they say, well, we make our computers, we make computers, they're beautiful design, they're user-friendly. Do you want to buy one? Wow, that's about as unimpressive as it gets. That's communicating from what, how, why. Instead, think about why, how, what. Here's what Apple actually does do. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. Our products are beautifully designed, easy to use, and they're user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? A much different impact. So one thought that I want to leave you with before I go into some questions for you also to consider is, why do you do what you do? Get crystal clear and develop an emotional connection beyond the surface level of making great commissions and making big money. And yes, I want to travel. What will those things do for you and your family? Now, here's the thing. Your why must also include what's in it for the customer. Because if it's all about you, your customers will feel it, and it will affect your ability to close the deal. So here are some questions for you to answer as an exercise, either by yourself or with your team. Why do you want to become one of the best real estate agents in your market? How could you behave more like a consultant versus a salesperson just looking for a listing? What key result area of selling will you turn from a weakness into a strength? What are 3 reasons why someone should hire you versus your competition? What 3 things will you do differently if you knew you couldn't fail? What do you want to be known for in your market? And then again, why do you want it? Be very clear here. And then finally, what one action will you take today based on what you've learned here today? Let me end by expressing a sincere gratitude and appreciation for your time here today. Certainly, if you've enjoyed this program and would like to have more programs delivered on behalf of Brian Tracy International or myself, drandreas.com, feel free to reach out directly to myself or the websites provided here for any more training, resources, and tools around the areas of psychology of selling or prescription-based sales success. And certainly do not be afraid to reach out to the founders of Annie Mac Works if you would like to see more of our trainings here live for you and helping you to deliver the value that you can deliver at the rates that you deserve. Thank you.